All right, we are starting to work on a new project. And I've got my sketchbook here. I've got to go in landscape style. So I have my pencil and I have a ruler for our supplies today. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some measurements real quick. So I've got my ruler up at the top. I want my 0 line at the very edge. And it is going to be close to 11 inches, which will work out perfectly. So at the very top of this, with my 1 inch or my 0 line on the edge, I'm going to make a mark at every inch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Then from here, what I want to do is I want to slide my ruler down. All right. Don't flip the book around. Slide this down. Get my 0 line on the very edge again. And I really want to get this down towards the bottom, so it's okay if your ruler is off. I'm just going to get it just a hairline on the bottom here. And I'm going to make those same marks. 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10 at the 1 inch. Just a little dot that I can see. All the way to 10 there. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use these to help come up with a nice triangle pattern. All right. And I'm going to start. We're going to go at the very edge of the paper here. So about where this line would come out to about in here. I'm going to start with my ruler, and I'm going to bring, holding this steady, I'm going to line it up with the first dot at the bottom, and I'm making an angled line. All right. So I went from the edge of the paper down to my first 1 inch mark here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate skipping a mark in between so that I can get a little bit of a zigzag pattern here. So I'm going to start where I left off at the bottom, but I'm not going to go straight up here. I want to go at an angle. So I've skipped one, and I'm going to my second mark from there. Wherever you leave off is going to be the point. At the bottom here, I'm going to skip this bottom one. I'm going to slide it over, and basically I'm alternating back and forth between the two. All right? Up, and I want to get that to go to the edge of the paper. Skipping a line in between, and I'm making a bunch of triangles is what this will look like. All right. And whether you go from the bottom or the top, that is up to you, as long as they're nice and straight. This last one, it's going to end on that corner. All right. So I'll have a couple spaces on the ends where my triangles are just half triangles. That's okay. All right. But you can see that I've got a space in between each one of these where there's a mark, and then the alternating space in between on those. You're going to do this twice. All right. So I've got this paper. I'm going to flip over to another paper. I'm going to do the same thing. All right. So you should have 2 of those because each one of these triangles we're going to use for part of our project. Okay. So what we're looking at here is we are going to make some paper beads out of these. So in a couple weeks, we are going to turn those triangles into some nice colorful beads. All right. So you can see here that these are not necessarily landscapes or pictures of people or trees or smiley faces, nothing like that. They are just some nice colorful designs. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to color our paper to get these nice lines of color to show up in our beads. All right. So what we want to do from here is we want to trace over our lines with a dark marker, whether it's a Sharpie or a black Crayola marker, or something that's going to be permanent and not go away there. All right. So if you do use a Sharpie, make sure you get a scrap piece of paper, put that scrap piece of paper underneath it so that it does not go through. All right. And then I will show you. All right. So here's one that's got some Sharpie on it. And now you're just going to come up with a simple design. We want to cover this page. You're going to do the same thing for both pages. So I'm just going to show you one for right now. And it can be some simple shapes. All right. So let me show you some of my examples here. I have, what did I do with them all? Oh, here they are. So this one here, I went in with some square diamond shapes. All right. You want to make sure you're covering your space. So even if they go off the page, We want to fill that space. Here's one I did, was just some blobs, all right? But I just want to come up with a simple idea. I went with some zigzag lines going across, and could even be as simple as some circles, all right? Once you've got those shapes drawn in pencil, just like you saw there, you're going to start coloring them in, all right? So let me find one that I started coloring. So if I did some circles like so, then you can use a colored pencil or a marker to start to color them in. Now you saw those beads, okay? We're going to take those beads and we're going to make them into either a nice necklace or a nice bracelet for a nice Mother's Day gift, okay? So you could start to think of your colors as maybe some colors that maybe your mother or a grandmother or an aunt, somebody that you want to give this to, will appreciate. And I went in and I kind of had some idea of how I wanted to lay these colors down. But each one of these triangles is going to be a separate bead when we go to put those together. All right? So this one's going to have a few yellows in it, mostly some of this raspberry color, a little bit of red in there. All right? This one's going to have mostly orange in it. So you can kind of dictate where you want those colors to go. You could use just marker if you wanted to. So I did one with the blob, all right, where I've got my blues and greens. Do I want to stick with just those two colors? I might. I might experiment with maybe some other colors. But some of these will have a little bit more green in them. Some will have a little bit more blue in them, depending on how I arrange them. We want to color the whole page, all right? Can we have a little bit of white? You can have a little bit of white in there, but we don't want large spaces where there's white in there. Here's one where I use both. I started doing a little bit of marker, and I started doing some colored pencil, and I just started putting down some random colors, all right? It could be that way because they could be all nice, colorful beads for the bracelet or for the necklace, but we do want to cover the entire space, all right? Like I said, could be a little bit of white. We just don't want big block areas of white in there, all right? And no scribbling. I want you to try to come up with some rhyme or reason of a design and then some colors down, but I don't want them just scribbled all over the place. We want to try to have some organization when we're putting those together, all right? That is our goal for the next couple class periods, is to color 2 pages fully, and then once those 2 get colored, then I will start talking about how to start to put them together in the bead form. Might be next class period, might be the class period after that. We'll see how it goes, okay? Guys, enjoy. Email me if you got any questions. Take your time, make sure you get your measurements right, all right, and then start working on just a simple design, and you can start coloring those in. We've got plenty of time, so this does not have to be done today, all right? We're going to try to work on it throughout the week. Kids will work on them in class. Take a little bit of time each day. Don't spend several hours in one day trying to get it done. Work on your other stuff as well, okay? Guys, good luck. Hope to see you soon.